I decided to watch Dead of Summer because I'm a fan of Once Upon a Time and Lost. And generally, when the writers of either of those shows are involved in a project, I'm all for giving that project a shot. And I don't know how to lightly talk about this without being completely negative because there were some positives. And I just don't think the show is designed for my particular demographic, which is, early 20s male. It's definitely, your teen drama, but it tried to incorporate these horror elements, which is obvious through the trailer, and it didn't work. Like, I never once jumped. It wasn't that it wasn't scary. Like, it wasn't scary at all. It was kind of, unfortunately, dead on arrival. And it's set up almost exactly in the format of Once Upon a Time or Lost, where the beginning scene is a really old flashback that took place in the Victorian era in the 1870s. Then it jumps to present day, and then it gives you flashbacks of Elizabeth Lail's character. And Elizabeth Lail plays Amy, and she's probably the most interesting character throughout the episode, but that's also because, A, she was the focus of the many flashbacks that were throughout the episode, and she also is the only one that's seeing the zombies. There's some clear lore and myth involved in the camp, and somehow she's the only one that's able to see these monsters or these zombies. And I felt like the show is trying to play up with Walking Dead a little bit, but it didn't work. It really didn't work. Elizabeth Mitchell's character, who is Deb, probably is the most interesting and the most mysterious, because we don't really know why she has such a devotion to the camp. And I think Elizabeth Mitchell is a very, very talented actress, and she plays these characters that are kind of secretive and very standoffish until you really get to know them and eventually fall in love with them. So I have a feeling that if I stick around for Dead of Summer, and I probably will watch the second episode just to kind of see where it goes. I might not give it a video review though, because I just don't think it deserves it. I'll probably still like the character because there's a whole scene at the end of the movie where she is at the end of the episode where she's about to open up a chest and there's something inside the chest. Ben from Desperate Housewives was in the show. Actually, Ben's character, hold on, I have the IMDb page up and I just want to make sure that I'm getting it. Charles Mesher. So if any of you are fans of Desperate Housewives, they have Ben from season 8 who got married to Renee on this show, which was I guess kind of good. He was another character that I liked. I want to see more of the sheriff. Essentially, another main character is Albert Ferreza's Garrett Sykes, who is the sheriff's deputy, and there's like a funky love triangle going on with him and one of the other camp counselors. And that's essentially the premise of the show. Is most of the camp counselors are campers or were former campers, and Elizabeth Lail's character is new to the town. She transferred to a new high school earlier in the year. She meets this girl named Margot, and they become friends, and then Margot dies at a party, and she's haunted by what happened with Margot. There was a behind the scenes at the end of the episode, and I didn't even stay through it because I just didn't care that much because it just wasn't that good. Like I said, though, I don't really think the show is targeted towards my demographic, but I even feel that teenagers, which I really feel is the demographic, I just don't think it works. There's something about it that feels off. But like the main characters of Elizabeth Lail and Elizabeth Mitchell are very good. Like, their acting is very much on point, and I sort of almost like the character of Amy and Deb. Actually, I do like the character of Deb. Don't get me wrong. I want to know why Deb is so attached to this camp, but in the end, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. It's not good. It's not a good show, and I'm so torn as to whether or not to stay around because it's only 10 episodes, so we'll essentially go throughout the whole summer and just kind of talk about more plot points because the camp, the lake at the end of the camp, at the end of the episode, started to bubble red. You see the old man from the flashback who clearly has some type of satanic ritual going on. I wonder if maybe he is an ancestor of Elizabeth Mitchell's Deb. The other teen actors really don't stand out. I mean, not that they're bad actors. I just don't think they were given that much material. And I feel that Amy, Elizabeth Mitchell's character, was Elizabeth Lail's character, excuse me, she went from being terrified to seeing all these ghosts to then being completely relaxed, and she also was dealing with saving Garrett from a fire. And I don't know, like I feel like that she would be a bit more not wanting to go in the lake and not wanting to really interact with anyone. Like she bounces back way too quick. In all honesty, after having viewed this, I feel that it work better as a direct-to-video or direct-to-TV movie that's maybe about 2 hours long. But overall, I would say Once Upon a Time fans and Lost fans might be a little disappointed. This episode was actually written by Adam and Eddie of Once Upon a Time and Lost, the guys who are going to be writing the season premiere of Once Upon a Time. And I'm a little nervous now for the season premiere episode of Once Upon a Time, given the premiere episode of this. And I wasn't even like trying to compare the two shows. It wasn't written well. And Adam and Eddie, when they write Once Upon a Time episodes, they essentially, we focus on core characters and we sort of develop the other ones around the same time. And maybe that'll allow the other teenagers to get some development, as there is 10 episodes and there's about 6 or so of them, maybe 5. And I just don't know. Like I feel like when you watch the first episode of Once Upon a Time or the first episode of Lost, and you're introduced to Jack and you're introduced to Evangeline Lilly's Kate and Sawyer and Charlie and Claire, who was played by Emily DeRaven, who plays Bella on Once Upon a Time, you kind of connect. You kind of connect these characters, and I just didn't feel a connection to any of them. The only character I felt a connection to, in all honesty, was Elizabeth Mitchel's character, and I only felt that connection because I just like her so much as an actress, and I actually am looking forward to Purge Election Year, which I believe comes out this weekend. So, I can't even say it's worth to give a shot to check out. I think I might check out the next episode just to see if it improves at all, but it wasn't that good. It wasn't a really good episode. Kind of dead on arrival. When I typed in Dead of Summer, the first thing that popped up was Dead of Summer is Dead on Arrival. That was one of the review catchphrases, and I like it, and I'm going to coin it. I will give the credit to it though. That was written by the Hollywood Reporter. Oh, not just, the Hollywood Reporter, the LA Times, and E! Online all essentially slammed it as well. And I don't even intend to slam it. Like, I went into it with my own thoughts. These are my thoughts, but I really feel that it wasn't good. It wasn't good. I would feel that maybe a couple camp counselors instead of, like the 5 or so they had. Granted, like, you're going to camp and you need a lot of counselors to make it realistic, but I feel that we should have, been focused. Like, it just should be like a more limited cast, because now we're gonna have to deal with all these other characters. Goofy love triangles. You have like a token gay character, which I didn't like. I didn't like the representation of him. And then you have 2 black characters, which is actually really nice, because Once Upon a Time and Lost were kind of it wasn't a very diverse cast, so at least it does have diversity going for it. But you don't judge a show based on diversity; you judge it on the acting abilities. And the teen actors were quite good, and so was Elizabeth Lail and Mitchell, obviously, as I've said a few times now. But I just don't think the writing is there, and I think this show has a lot to work out, and I hope it gets better. And the second episode is available on the ABC app, but I think you have to pay for that. So I'm just going to be checking it out next Tuesday. And if it's really bad, I won't bother. But if not, I'll do it. I mean, maybe it'll improve. I don't know. Okay, so to sum up, I would say Once Upon a Time fans and Lost fans, I don't think we should check this out. I just don't think it's really worth it. I really hope if you already have seen it that you'll share your thoughts about the episode in the comments below. Maybe you liked it. Share your thoughts about why you liked it. I just don't think it works. All right, so I'm pretty much done here. I'm not gonna give it a rating. It wasn't good. All right. Share your thoughts about the episode in the comments below. If you saw it, or if you're fans of Once Upon a Time and Lost, if I completely deterred you, or if you're still going to give it a chance because you have faith in Elizabeth Lail and Elizabeth Mitchell performance. And I will say the performances are quite good. I just think that the story is it's a lot boring. It's not scary. If you're looking for something scary, you're not going to get scary. If you're looking for like amazing writing, it's just not there. All right, guys. Thank you so much for tuning into this review of the episode. Again, I'm sorry that I am very, very critical of it, but it just didn't work. All right, share your thoughts in the comments below, and make sure to subscribe if you like what you see. There'll be more reactions coming to this channel very soon, and other videos, of course. All right.